Okay.
For the stream. Need stones at least.
Which one do you want to sit out?
Okay.
What's that?
And
There's one I think cut.
I think it was a 6.
Okay.
And we are live for draw 3 from the Dutch Masters Curling Mixed Doubles Curling Van Zoetermeer in the Netherlands. A stop on the World Curling Tour, previously known as Curling Champions Tour. Welcome all our viewers. You're joined here today with Brendan Botcher. Welcome, Brendan.
Thank you.
We're going to be taking a look at Scotland's new mixed doubles champions this year. We'll be representing Scotland at the World Mixed Doubles in Oostersund. Stirling and Kingan. And they're going to be playing this match against Moores and Wheeler from USA. It's a team that comes from Colorado.
Thanks.
Previously lived in Minnesota, so have played quite a bit of curling there. Only one rink in Colorado, I understand.
Oh, you asked them. I wasn't sure if they had a dedicated rink.
They have a dedicated rink with 4 sheets.
Wait, that's not right.
And I understand that some of their fans and family are watching, so welcome Denver Curling Club to Zoetermeer, and hi to the Morris family. And no doubt we have lots of fans across the water here in Scotland watching this great young couple play.
Looks like the Scottish team got hammer.
Yep, they play a draw shot to determine which team will have first stone and which one team will have last rock advantage, the hammer, in the game. And first stone will be delivered by USA, Claire Moores.
Thank you.
Just like y'all do. Weight's close.
Mine's
A little
good.
spicy.
Mine's okay.
That's got to come
Hair
in.
tight,
Or probably back
but
house.
it's fine.
Back house.
Both these teams losing their opening match, both against Latvia teams this morning on the ice at 8 o'clock. So both will be searching for their first win in the group.
Yeah, and I think key to that will be trying to find draw weight as early as they can. And you see that first rock went a little bit heavy. It's tough, especially when you're practicing first, to come back out and try and get that first draw. And in mixed doubles, that's so important.
For those of you who are watching mixed doubles here for the first time, this is a new series in the Olympics. It'll be for the first time played as a sport there. It is a full medal sport. It is not demonstration. 8 teams will be representing their countries. We do have Olympians here on the ice that are preparing for Pyeongchang this weekend. Some of their games will be featured a little bit later in the weekend.
There itself. It's coming down.
The team with the hammer has their stone placed at the back of the forefoot. The team with the first stone has a stone placed as a guard position. You see that yellow one just coming by on your camera there. That's to set up each end, unless a power play is called, and hopefully we'll be able to explain that when the power play comes. Each team delivers 5 stones. The first stone and the last stone in each end is played by the same player, and the 3 stones in the middle are played by the second player. Teams can choose, they can change that lineup throughout the game per end, but each end that lineup stays the same. They can't just decide to throw the first and the second and then the next 3. It's first and last, and then the 3 in the middle.
Weight's okay. All there.
Another difference you'll see, you can have your second player holding the broom in the house or sweeping. That is also a choice by teams.
Yeah, and I think there's a pretty good mix of teams that do those two things. So.
Yep, keep it going.
This looks like pretty good
Really
draw
nice
if he's got the weight.
Nice shot.
Yeah, very good.
Right into the top there. They've made a little pocket by being a little heavy on that blue one.
I think you can just about get inside.
Come down.
That overcurl, jeez.
Even with a bump on nose. Even if a bump on nose is not bad.
91, you hardly
I
touched
think
it,
if
just
we
to
can try and get
by the
inside,
guard.
but even if we bump on nose, it's okay. Even if they like shot just now.
She's going to sit in a
Yeah.
So all 4 players have microphones out there, so we can hear a lot of the conversation, which is, I think, really great when we're commentating and let the players tell us what they're thinking.
Looks like he's going to try and get to the inside here, and it's going to be pretty tricky, I'd say. But even if he can tap it on the nose and get it behind the tee line, maybe they can remove it on the next
Absolutely.
Whoa. Where is it?
That's gonna jam.
Yep.
Yeah, it's jamming all day.
Hard.
Your opponent's talking about the jam here. They're already seeing it, so
That's okay, I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot.
they've controlled the forefoot, and that yellow is free to tap out now,
Sorry
so
to move at the end.
not a bad
I
outcome.
didn't think it was going to move, so I tried to get it across the face, but I just moved more than I thought.
I think you just played on the sheet, Brendan. Curl in there a little bit. You have to have really that perfect weight that just is there with a little bit of sweep, eh?
Yeah, we found that even if you're a couple feet heavy, it just ran that little bit. And to get that finish coming in the house, you needed to be just there or even there with a little bit of sweeping. So, but that's a good shot. Get it behind the tee line. I think lots of teams there just play the freeze, and then that yellow rock gets trapped in the forefoot. At least now on the next one, they can try and tap it.
And this margin, if they end up playing a run somewhere, it's a little bit easier to get out as well.
Mm-hmm, of course.
Stake that happens also in men's and women's curling. They leave things a little bit piled up at the tee line.
Yeah.
Just caught like a piece of it from there.
We'll get to it eventually, but never get back.
Well, yeah, and in men's and women's, you have more chances, so you can wait a little bit and try and
Absolutely.
hit later. And in mixed doubles with only 5 rocks in end, you don't have a lot of time to do that.
5 rocks, and you cannot remove the first couple rocks. You can't remove a stone until the 5th stone is being delivered.
Same weight? Okay.
And that's not just guards like in 4-person curling, it's even the rocks in the
In
house.
play.
So.
Yeah. It's either that, or you could try and play a similar weight and nose on this yellow on this side.
Get the whole forefoot locked off.
Don't mind that call.
Appreciate the force.
I just think this, at least you're moving something.
So this pairing is their first year in mixed doubles.
I like this side.
They entered the Scottish Championships thinking, let's just give this a try. And had a great time. Really enjoyed it, really clicked.
As long as I play like at least.
Seemed to have a really good energy with each other and
Okay, let's make it.
just enjoying the game.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about mixed doubles is there's quite a bit more misses than there is in 4-person curling. So really, if you can get out there and for 3 or 4 days have a good weekend, there's still the feeling that anyone can win it, and they're obviously a good example of that. And now the experience they're going to get here this year, they'll be contenders in the future.
We're on it, it's fine.
Yeah,
Whoa,
absolutely.
Whoa.
They were up against Lee and Judith McCleary and Bruce and Gina, who were all in good running and world medalists. And
It's a pretty easy tap right now. We go here, or we get here.
Either or.
Stopping way.
You got one Ross
Still
left.
thought it'd end up okay, but.
they managed to hook up some pretty good sponsorship in Scotland, and they're thanks to all those sponsors that helped them out: Owen Food Services, TP Niven, Transport and Storage, C&S Sets, Matthew Watt Hair, Hardline Curling, Jim Kingan and Sons Limited, Selfield. Sponsors are really important on this tour. Events are expensive, travel's expensive,
I don't know what
and
they're going to play.
curling's not a full paid sport, so it's really important to have that sponsorship and that support from families and friends
I think it's coming in this.
and companies in your neighborhood. So all you sponsors out there, thank you very much.
Mine's good. Felt heavier.
It's okay, I didn't get a time.
Felt heavier.
Did not get a
Yep,
time.
line. Yep, line. Oh, we're good, we're good. Where's the weight?
Top 4?
Gotta be top 4, yep.
Top 4.
It's a really good communication between these two. These Americans showing some really good teamwork. One's working on the line, working on the sweep, and the other one's giving feedback, following the line down. Saw you and Aratsi doing that as well. It was definitely more effective than calling the line from the whole sheet and engaged with each other. It was
I don't want to try it and
Really inspiring to see you guys play the last draw. Come out with a win.
Yeah, it was big that first game to get the conditions under us and get feeling confident, and that was obviously the first game Aransu and I have ever played together, so just having the communication and trying to talk as much as we can and hopefully be on the same page was pretty important. Now the Americans made a great shot there. I think it maybe came just a sliver too far. I know they were trying to get it into the forefoot, but I think they might have left a double here by just getting around that top blue one. If they had been just even only in there for second shot, but right beside the blue one, then that one would be a little more stuck.
Yeah.
There's still a chance that this might.
It's one of those deeper or higher.
Yeah.
If anything, I hear inside nose.
You should be able to take them both out.
I don't know if we can get there.
I think so, but I think that
The blue might spit off
one's
as well.
probably spinning out. Their shooter might roll out too if he doesn't catch it right on the nose.
Leaving the yellow, the shots down at the back.
Yeah, maybe. Now this shot should be very straight. At least we found that earlier. You can pretty much take right where you want to hit it.
You're looking good for nose.
And as we predicted, the shooter rolls off and the blue splits out at the top.
Yeah, and that back yellow one shot now, so now they have a chance to plop one in the forefoot and try and get them to draw at the end of the end here.
I like going here, then they have to draw behind us for one.
As soon as you put like anything back through on it, it's just going right away out.
I think they sort of had to prioritize on that one, whether the double was the most important thing or if they could bring the weight down a little bit, make sure they keep their shooter somewhere in the 8 foot, and maybe get the USA trying to play a hit here.
Yeah, and they'll look at that for the next ends and further in the game to see where those margins line up.
I know what I was getting for splits.
So international affair here in Curling Band Zoetermeer at the Dutch Masters. We have Finland, Sweden, Scotland, Norway, Russia, Canada, Spain,
Mine's fine. Yep.
USA, Latvia. Unfortunately, no Dutch teams participating here. Came just a little heavy there. That is not the outcome they were looking for. Anywhere short there is forcing.
And you know, the only upside there is I think the angle they got with that back yellow one, they probably can't tap it out without jamming it. So Scotland sort of has to decide if they want to take on the double and maybe go for a bunch or make sure they get their single here.
Single point.
Yeah.
Can never do.
This is not an easy
Nice reveal thing, but I think if you're losing this one, that comes there anyway.
Yeah, just go.
Half stone. Try into the side of it.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to go for it. They're going to play a hit off. So
I'll come out and sweep. Do you like just playing this turn?
Yeah.
No, in the first end, maybe that's not such a bad choice. I mean, the worst case, they're only giving up one. If you ever could get 3 or 4 here, I think that'd be pretty big.
they're sitting 1, 2, 3 otherwise. So
It's definitely there. I think this is another shot based on how our game went this morning, where you almost need to be missing it on the low side a little early, and then it'll come back. I think if she throws it right at the nose, it'll just hit it right on the nose.
just got a little bit of ice here, so it's expecting it to curl a little. There's a little dependent on weight. Oops. She doesn't throw a ton of weight. Not quite what you were throwing this morning, Brendan, so
well,
she's making a little bit of
if
movement.
you hit it in the right spot, that does the trick too.
One yellow.
Looks like she was a little bit wide. Yeah, it's quite straight out in the wing there. We found it's almost maybe a little easier if you can play the inside out turn and know it's going to curl. It's just hard visually to be taking negative ice on a shot like that and don't have a piece of it out of your hand and hope it falls back for you.
Especially if you're used to playing on more curling ice. And
oh, for sure.
So heading into end 2, USA steals 1. So Kingan will have the hammer, and their rock gets placed at the back of the forefoot, their stone. And those stones are placed at designated locations. There's marks on the ice here that indicate where they need to go.
Where were you?
That's blue.
What's that?
Line, where were you on?
Oh no.
Oh, split 8's good.
Okay.
Over on our other sheets here, we have a
Okay.
team from Spain against Lee and Judith McCleary on sheet 1.
Just press until it's right.
And Spain took 2 in the first end. And over on sheet 3, we have Sweden versus Switzerland.
Yes, line, hard line.
Young Swedish team against a really experienced Olympic medalist from the past, Sven Michel. He's here with Shelly Aggie. Nice to see Sven back on the ice competing in curling. Took a couple years off. Had a minute.
Put it back to it.
Yeah, put it back to where it was.
You know where the centre is anyway, so.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's right where it was when it started.
Yeah. You can come either card.
Davey was a bronze medalist in Vancouver.
Yeah, good line.
Sven Michel
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
It's half reason.
Represented Switzerland a couple times.
Could you hear me or no?
Yeah.
You know, she was a little bit lighter on her first one. She's just in there for second shot, but I think that's
The line's nice.
that's a much better miss than the one she had the end before, where she was a little bit deep and allowed them to draw a second rock in the house. This one's usable. They'll have the whole end to try and tap it up. And
Got it.
Scotland here, I think the key is just trying to make a good freeze and not tap it in there for shot.
Looks pretty nice. Is he putting it up?
Yeah, it's a great shot.
That's nice there.
Anything light of that was going to be good. Anything that you had an angle to maybe come in and hit it out on your next one.
I'll show you. It was like
That's good there.
here.
Yeah.
Or we go the other way. I like freeze now. We can poke it through it.
Okay. Doesn't it jam on ours?
Get it inside of it. No, I want to be frozen on there. Middle 8, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of weight.
Yeah,
All
no.
there.
Oh. Oh, it's coming now. Yep. Yes, line. Whoa. Whoa.
Top 4.
Whoa. Whoa. Ah. Shit.
All right.
That's not.
Yeah, and that's not a great miss there.
It's like half.
Came on the side of that.
Even at half,
Yeah.
there's a catch there.
Came in a little heavy on it, hit the outside of it, and tapped it in there.
Yeah.
Indirect. Last I saw.
Hack, wait, try and get
The wrong end of the margin.
It really didn't go as nearly as much as I thought it was.
This is the second draw for both teams.
Are they playing slash or just a nose on it?
He's
Don't
playing
mind
a
it,
red back
touch
on
left.
this, eh?
They know it's
I think he's trying to come in soft and just catch half of that
Tap, tap.
blue one, but it looks like quite a bit of ice to me.
we can nose back and roll center.
I think they're trying to do a double on our teams and knock our yellow in the back out.
So there seems to be some confusion in from either side, which hopefully the team that's throwing it knows what they're doing.
And
That's the hope.
handle.
You're okay. You're okay.
See, he's got a nice line here.
Yeah, that was a
Really
very
well
good
played.
shot to play it off that top one.
Left himself sitting 3, so really nice outcome on that. He saw the angle, saw the lines, and went for it. Good shot.
Yeah.
I just said
Just a draw.
It looked like it was
It
gonna
did
break.
look like that.
Sitting here is great.
Okay.
I was quite quick to decide no.
I mean, hit's conservative
That's
move.
good too.
What's that?
So I think a wee pocket, if I just suck in a wee bit, it would be better, but it's not
It's a
bad.
pocket with a gap. So.
Yeah. See what happens.
A little tap would be great too. The win I had last time was
So we're going to come down and try and hit and roll here, I think. A little tap and roll.
I think so.
Get in behind that, use a guard.
They were talking about the draw a little bit, and I feel like the draw might have been a more makeable shot than this hit and roll, but certainly if they make it, it gets into a good spot.
Were you here less? You looked okay that way.
I was a wee bit far.
Doesn't have much weight, so it's a little controlled tap, I think.
Oh, maybe they did end up at the draw.
Whoever's doing, he's on this top one event.
Tap and roll.
Yes, Ryan.
If he gets by here, it's going to be...
Don't sweep
The
it.
top blue one, I think.
No,
Don't
it's
touch
on
it.
the
Don't
blue
touch
one.
it.
Okay.
So it's looking pretty blue.
Whoever just put a guard on that side, they might try this.
Yeah. I don't mind throwing for
Coming through.
Yeah, we need to
kind
get
of
inside
like,
that.
if you end up shorter, that's okay.
Yeah,
Getting inside
I like
this
that.
guy.
Yeah?
Well, come and sweep.
Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah. So,
See, even if I rub the yellow, it's not a disaster. It's putting it into a more awkward spot.
Yeah.
more ice, speaking back.
Yeah, I think that's the shot.
As long as you're on the
This
inside
team
of the
Morris and Wheeler from USA will be heading home after this
They can
event
really use.
to participate at the national championships in mixed doubles.
Yeah, which I think only start in a couple of days for them, so it's going to be a pretty tight
I
turnaround
think
to
they have 3 or 4 days turnaround.
get back accustomed to the time zone over there and hopefully have a good week.
They fly from here straight to the event. They don't go home first, so
It's okay, we can drag it.
we'll be looking forward to meeting some of these teams out here again for the Worlds if they qualify. It's kind of exciting.
Low line.
Hanging up there.
Low line.
Yeah, it snows right now.
Whale.
Looks like he's got a little bit too much weight here on this one.
It's coming down.
Somebody get on the inside, or
Yes.
Don't mind that.
It's not a bad leave, no.
Kind of committed now.
he does leave that draw again if they can get the ice better.
Yeah, if they can get one in there.
It's got a little bit to rub off of the yellow or the blue on the right.
Playoff that blue one.
Catching up the weight, too much ice as well. Don't know what else we could have played there though.
No, that's the right
I think if we tried to pump this in, they just flashed that right in.
Yeah,
We couldn't
no.
miss it really.
I think I need to make that like a spoon like
Yeah.
passed on its own right as opposed to something to like just using it to pop up something else.
Discussion here from Team Scotland about what they're leaving and how they're satisfied they are with that outcome and what the consequence could have been otherwise. So, like in regular curling, teams aren't only looking about what they're creating for themselves, but what shots are going to be leaving for their opponents.
Wait, yep. Yes, line.
Looks like for the second shot in a row here, he might be a little bit tight with that out turn.
On that guard again.
Yeah.
That's a bit of the consequence. If you're not watching the line and missing the line a little bit on those kind of shots. Somebody down in the house, potentially get that a little better.
To be honest.
Yeah.
You know, as you said, Sherry, if you had been a little wide there were a few rocks that you could sort of chip off of and roll back to the middle. Being tight there was not a great miss.
Yeah.
But, you know, Scotland's still got to make a good hit and roll here, and if they don't, they might have either a tap or that same draw again.
Yeah.
They always have the in-turn draw, although it's a little bit scary when it's against a pile. But
Tap again.
that's the same path they would have played to draw the button.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they should know where to take and roughly what kind of speed it'll be.
Tight here anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah, keep an eye on line for
Top
it.
blue one.
There's no way.
Skinny past the guard, might drag into the back one. Back of the 4. Can't tell if it's separation or not.
It's a wee bit fresher path, I think.
Oh, that's hanging. It's really hanging. They might bump it.
Looks like he's quite wide here early.
He's really hanging out, eh?
Take the yellow.
They need to make sure they at least get to the nose of this yellow one or they might line it up.
I think you're still throwing this same
Draw.
draw, and again we can come to here.
They're pretty quick to make that decision, play that draw.
I think I threw mine there.
I like this, and now you've got 3 rocks over there you can be a little heavy on and spin back into the button. So
Play straight tap.
as long as you get past that top yellow one, you should end up in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, let's see if her release works out the same as his. It seems to curl off quite early. She's frozen a little more positive, and that's a little bit of difference of how you release the stones. Whether they curl up or whether they run a little bit first.
Top of the 8.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what same one I threw to tap that.
Okay, so just
She's
maybe
got to rub off her own
at
one
the
just
blue
to
rock,
make a shot.
center of the blue rock.
And that's what they're
outside
quite calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
I know, but if they rub off, they're probably like...
Okay, so the target. You should know this line after a couple. She's got some margin. She can come in on one of those in blue in the forfeit. She gets into the forfeit, she'll be okay.
Yeah.
Couple rocks to bump off.
Yeah.
It's the last stone at the end.
You're probably back 8.
Mine's okay.
Back 8.
Gotta move. Gotta move.
Back 8.
It's not gonna move enough.
Yeah, and if she's a little wide here, they're going to have to make a choice which one they can sort of chip off of. Oh, and they crashed the top for the 3rd time in a row.
They were actually, I think they were actually playing the tap back.
Oh,
there,
you think
Brendan,
they were playing the
because
tap back?
She said it had to move. She wanted it to curl more even.
No, I was surprised they didn't play that same draw path.
I think I would have done that. You got the forefoot, you got 2 sitting on the forefoot. You can kind of chip or rub off either one of those.
That tap sort of felt like an all or nothing shot, where the draw you had a little bit of margin. If you were a little wide, it could play. If you were a little heavy, it could play. The tap you had to make
You pretty much
perfect.
come off the yellow, the blue, or right up to the blue at the back of the forefoot there. You had some margin either way.
And it looks like they might have left a soft weight hit here for 4 or 5, I think, if they can keep their shooter
If you're
around.
wide, you catch this.
Yeah.
Nothing really. If you catch this, you might still do that. If you're thin. I don't think there's much risk, really.
I like barrier.
Right barrier?
Yeah.
You can play that or you can play hack. It's up to you.
If you're Scotland here, this isn't an easy shot. You've seen a whole lot of rocks here over curl, and it's easy to take a little bit too much ice.
And you're playing inside out instead of outside in. We've seen a lot of rocks come from the outside in, which is mixed doubles. That's the way you play. And when you're forced to go the opposite direction, sometimes the ice also doesn't break this easy because it's been running lines. So you have to be pretty smart here. I don't think they can get into any trouble.
Like right in the nose, you can't do any harm.
And it's a pretty nice bonus to get 4 stones.
Yeah, you got it.
At the moment sitting 3. Last stone at the end.
Got most of it. You just need to tap it through. If you're playing hack, all you need is half stone.
Scotland won the hammer by the draw shot. They're in first last stone advantage. In the pre-game practice. I'm sorry, that's not a fact. USA had the last stone the first set.
That's true. They stole.
I'm gonna end in the game here. Wake up.
Wait's good.
Sounds like it's curling here.
Yeah, they're going pretty hard. Looks like they're on that yellow. I wonder if they can try and spin it in off that yellow somehow.
She's all right, actually.
Oh, very good. I thought they were calling off like she had caught that top one. Looks like it's 5 blue.
It's pretty close, but I think so. Yeah, it's 5. Nice shot.
So a pretty big end there.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it just kind of quickly you're up, say. You get a little bit off a little, and not big misses, just half shots. And you get yourself in trouble pretty quickly in mixed doubles.
Yeah, when you can't hit for the first half of the end and then you have a few shots you play a little cute at the end of the end, it creeps up on you fast. But the same thing can happen the opposite way this next end.
The scoreboard's not over. This game is by far finished. Men's, women's play, you'd see the teams just banging out stones now, but in mixed doubles that doesn't happen because you can't hit them. So it is a score of 5 in end 2 for Stirling and Kingan from Scotland. And they will lose, the hammer will go back to USA, and they'll be looking to make some scores back. So if you're just joining us, we're in Curling van Zoetermeer in the Netherlands at the Dutch Masters Curling Mixed Doubles on the World Curling Tour. Here with Brendan Botcher from Canada and Sherry Lebrun from the Netherlands. And Our wonderful technical crew from Christian
I
Librons
think I want to go on that.
providing cameras and technical equipment for broadcasts here. And Lawrence Hookman out on the ice as an extra cameraman doing an awesome job. Giving the nice close-ups of the players.
It's fine.
So,
I'll take a little tighter ice on this side and
Weirstone delivered.
tucking around
Takes
that
off
left
that guard.
Okay.
A little. Wants to come around that. Open step center line.
like this, a little tighter ice.
Okay.
This stage of game, that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. Open yourself up a little bit of room, and maybe you can hit that one a few rocks from now.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotta move. Gotta move. We're on it right now. Yep.
Oh, and just gets by that guard. You know, that's not a bad spot.
It's actually pretty good because Reese establishes that guard in the center line, takes
and
control.
Scotland still can't hit, and I don't think they can quite get there with the draw. So
Yeah.
So the benefit of hitting now becomes a limitation.
Yeah, I think that's the only shot we've got.
Try to
Really.
side, right? Around that one.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yep. Whoa. Dig.
So since mixed doubles was awarded Olympics representation, they definitely quickly increased the World Curling Tour, added lots of events on the tour, and lots of opportunities for mixed doubles teams to be going. It seems to be something that's growing all around the world really fast. You just participated in mixed doubles trials in Canada, Brendan. How was that for an experience?
oh, it was amazing. You know, in Canada, there's so many good players, and I think the last couple of years, a lot of the top players have been playing mixed doubles, which I think is driven by the Olympics, and it's a good thing. And we had just a grind of a week. I think it was 14 or 15 games to actually win the event. So it was quite a long format we had in Alberta, or in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was played in an arena. I think one of the best teams in the week ended up winning it.
Yep.
And I think they'll do a great job in Korea here in
That's
a month.
John Morris and Caitlin Lawes. Familiar to the Olympic world. And,
Yes, of course.
it's interesting, the men's team was won by Kevin Cooey, who will be representing Canada at the Olympics, and with Mark Kennedy and Brent Hebert, two of his teammates, and he's back there as well, so it's kind of an interesting
I think so.
outcome.
That was fine.
No longer in the team with the men's team, but they're all going to the Olympics, so exciting for them.
That wasn't a great rock to be a little bit heavy on. Even if she would have been sort of top 8, top 12 and blocked off that side and maybe set up an angle to tap it on her next one. There's just been a few rocks this game where they've been a little heavy and then gotten nothing out of them, as opposed to being 3-4 feet light and then you still have a pretty usable rock.
Yeah, and when you're down in points, it's the same margin as otherwise. You definitely want to put those rocks up. They can use them again.
Looks like Scotland's going to try and get around that guard and make the freeze.
Way only. Line's good.
Maybe go away, Tom. It's okay though. Oh, all right.
Line's fine.
You're okay.
I'm here. Let me in.
Good communication.
Yeah,
Right behind him. Comes in to finish the sweep there.
well, that's a pretty good shot.
Nice. And they kept in front of the tee line, so it doesn't leave it much for USA to come up to.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and get to the nose and maybe tap it back a foot or two.
Could potentially tap back that center line, the yellow on the center.
Oof. That's going to be tough to get to nose, at least based on that camera angle.
Yeah, it's almost.
I think you might be right, Sherry. I think maybe you can bump that center line one back and get a little bit better result.
Yeah, I think so too.
You don't have to hit it very hard. You could play sort of a hack weight and try and chunk it into one of those two.
You got some margin to put it into play, and
Yeah, I like this shot quite a bit. Looks like they're leaning to it.
Yeah, it'd be great to nose that one. Just normal.
he's gonna play it with some weight though. I'd be playing this with a tap. I'd want to be keeping my shooter.
Well, he's got a foot of ice there, so he can't be throwing it, I wouldn't say much more than a heavy draw.
As he decreases his ice.
Unless he cuts it down, yes.
More confidence to the gap as well.
Yeah, definitely. See what he does. He could make it perfect.
He's playing with some weight.
Yeah, he is. I would be
He's a little bit
surprised if
impatient.
this curled there for him.
Not gonna move, not gonna move, not gonna move.
Oh, and he's got the high guard. Yeah, I just think that was a little bit too much ice for that shot, and maybe a little impatient not to just tap it. You know, when you're down 4, you need to
Make sure you keep all your shooters
you
and
need to
players.
keep your yellow rocks in play as much as you can, and hopefully at the end of the end you've got some sort of hit for a few.
Absolutely. I think if you play that tap and you keep your shooter there, you've always got another shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose your guard, then they're just running the back one off, and you still lose this point anyway. So
Scotland's looking to hit as soon as they get an opportunity, anyways.
Yeah.
You got to take a little bit of risk when you get down.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
I don't think they can ever bump it
No, I think
enough.
this is good. Like,
Yeah, I like this. You'll watch you. Try to be quite a quick path here.
yes.
they're going to come around, try and drop that back, I think.
And if you're really, really short, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's nice to see younger teams in Scotland continuing to play, and I think they've been really inspired by Judith and Lee. Have been playing for a long time and really invested a lot of time in also bringing up younger teams and training. So really exciting to see the growth in Scotland from the sport. Shot. I think they could have swept that a little bit to get a little around and taken away, taking that run back away. That was a bit of a miscommunication. Yeah.
I'll be interested to see here if he tries to play the same weight with less ice or just tries to play a little bit
Looks
less
like
weight.
he's got significantly less ice here. So.
If we'd have gone for the sweep to get round it, that was a good call, but I didn't think we were fast.
No, I don't think you're ever like.
I mean, certainly if you play it hard and you stick it there, it works great. It just is very much an all or nothing type shot. Whereas if you play it a little bit softer, you have some sweeping, you can chunk it into a few rocks in the house and still get something out of it.
And Scotland kind of taken that right away by sweeping that one around it. Didn't quite see that.
Still higher.
Whoa!
Closer, but.
Whoa! Yep.
Give you a little kick off that blue. All right here.
Ah, very good shot.
Nice shot.
Very good shot. And all of a sudden, Scotland needs to make
House is a different color.
one good one on their last, otherwise they might be giving up 4 right back.
And that's mixed doubles.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
What's that?
Hardly curled.
I know.
Just like back line, but then you might leave a double. You don't want to end up doing this at back line though. Leaving them nose for 4.
Yeah.
Don't mind trying that because. Right, leave
But
them.
then they can just come through and pop it through with the... Yeah, I like throwing for the inside of this.
What, wait, it's back line still.
Yeah.
Leave like 3/4 stone inside, I think.
Yeah.
I did.
Go and watch line actually. Go up and watch line.
So here we go.
That happened to us.
They're going to come in and try and just play that off.
Yeah.
Hello?
Thank you.
Oh, that made me super nervous.
Right, it's just literally back line weight. You've got plenty of room. Yeah.
I didn't see their call.
Can't try and catch the inside top.
Yeah. You've got it.
And it'll roll in a wee bit and it won't be.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. It'll be good.
What makes you think?
I feel like, oh, it's tough.
Is that far delay into the woods?
A shot for
Not even that, probably.
No, you meant inside the wood.
Pretty much. Can hold it quite well.
That's fine, I'll throw inside the wood.
They can raise
We
it.
should have a shot for a couple. Even if they dead freeze it, we can rip the whole pile. Maybe win the tap.
Wait's good.
Okay, handle's quite soft.
Just back line.
Still needs to go. Oh!
Literally just back 8.
It's really high though. Oh, yeah, slide as much as you can.
Oh, you have a better shot at this.
It's got to curl up a little bit here. Hooked up on my leg here, Bren. It's all right.
Okay. Don't mind that.
Well, she's going to have a draw through that hole for 3.
It's tough though on this guard. They had trouble getting by
It's like literally dead freeze weight.
What?
It's
Fine though. That's fine.
I just want the line
Yeah,
because
like,
Right.
they rub in that guard.
That's fine.
I mean, it's something like this.
I'm glad it came up to make it.
We can tickle this thing.
That's fine.
It's definitely there. I mean, they just played that line with a little bit of sweep and
Yeah, I wouldn't be too
Little
worried
bit of
about this
rotation.
over curling. You can run into
you can overcurl. You don't
really
want
any of those rocks and
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
Yeah. Even if you chip that little blue one a little and overcurl and roll into the top of the 4, you're okay.
Probably the edge of that blue on the outside.
Right
edge of it.
Just my one that's cost us it.
When you speak on the line, as soon as we're past, you might have to hammer it.
So, last one to the end here.
It's okay. Let it move.
Claire Moores, USA.
Wait close.
Gotta move.
You got to see it get off that wide blue one.
Good.
Not off it yet.
Should be.
Not
Should
off
finish
it
up
yet.
here.
Not off it
No, I think she's going to end up chipping that top one.
yet. Yep.
Oh, just squeaks by.
Nice
What a shot.
shot.
That's a
Brilliant.
big point.
Right to the 4.
Yeah, excellent.
And really patient.
And now
Good
they're
visual.
back within 1. So,
So, nice score of 3. It's 5-4.
So many rocks.
looked like that one was hanging. I thought it was going to chip the wide one,
Just
and
finished off nicely.
they had it perfect.
She had really nice weight. That was really great weight control. She was throwing a little bit warm in her earlier stones, so it's nice to see her fun that draw weight.
Yeah, I think this
really
first
key.
shot here will be pretty key too. She needs to get this one close, and hopefully
Absolutely.
she's got some confidence from that last rock.
Really nice throw.
It was 3, right?
What's that?
It was 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just double checking with her teammate
I'm gonna do it
that she was successful.
because I was hanging.
I think the speed's the same over here.
All right.
A little update on our other sheets here. In 3, it is Sweden and Switzerland tied up 1-1.
Mine's really good.
And
yeah, good for line.
Spain
Yep.
just took another 2 on 3 on Judith and Lee.
Yes, for line.
And
Yep, hard for line. Hard for line.
I mean, Judith's a little distracted with her team on the sheet next door. She'll be coaching them at the Worlds. It's really exciting.
And it looks like they had quite good weight on that last one. They just didn't quite get the line right. So
So it just chipped off the guard a little.
yeah, now Scotland's got the chance to put one top 4 and really close it down.
Where are you on the line there? Because I
This
was.
way?
Yeah, I was.
That's edge 8.
Okay, I was just inside, so it's probably edge 8.
Talking about a little bit more about the lines and where exactly they want to be throwing.
Yeah, the
Communication.
important thing on this rock is they need to try and keep it in the top of the house.
Ton in front of the tee line, absolutely.
Being behind the guard isn't super important yet because the States can't hit it.
Yeah.
So even if they went top 4 right on the center line, there's not a whole lot the U.S. can do unless they want to try and tap it. If you go too hard to try and get this buried and you end up putting it on the tee line and then they can
behind.
freeze, that might be you're out.
That's perfect
But it
shot.
looks like she's got the right weight here.
Really nice shot.
Here.
So he will follow down and try and put it in scoring position
Quickly in that line.
between those two blue ones.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be at least top left.
We took quite an early break for
Yeah.
some sort of.
And they'll be wanting to be a little careful here. They don't want to also come too heavy and bump off that blue one and roll in the open. It's the next shot you can hit.
Don't mind that.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Counted my stones right?
Yes. Yeah, they need to try and get this one frozen to one of the two of them, or else Scotland will be able to bang it out. But it's also a good opportunity. If you can get one frozen to that rock back four, you've almost got two guards with that one and the 8 foot. So looks like he's a
short.
little on the light side.
Yeah, I think we just come around that one, to be honest. And get to here.
Yep, that's good.
Scotland's going to take advantage of that and use it.
Try and get it deep enough that they can't just play like a nose double
Yeah.
on that. It needs to be at least a stone further. I think that. Yeah, I don't mind coming that way.
And with another draw.
Yeah.
Either that or you throw it short on that side, but
Two more feet away
still,
there.
they've probably still got an out turn, I think, or even the in turn of the game.
Yeah, no, I think
This is the third Dutch Masters mixed doubles. Organizer Carlo Glasbergen teamed up with Kimberly Honders from Curling Bands Zoetermeer to bring you this event.
We're talking about wire too, so I mean, lots of good angles at
It's
this.
way out there.
Unfortunately, no Dutch teams participating this weekend, but full commitment of the club and the organization to welcome all these top international teams and create a really great training environment and opportunity for some of the teams heading off to the Olympics. That was a nice outcome, actually.
It was. That was
Not
good
bad at all.
communication that they realized it was a little wide and a little bit heavy, and they swept it to still get something out of it. I think that's so important.
Took away a straight tap back off that middle yellow one. That was a really key communication point there.
I think they need to try and get close to nose on that yellow one and see if you can't open it up maybe.
Take off a couple if you can get it.
Yeah, they're only down one now. I know it felt like they were chasing their last end, but now they're back to one down, and if they could get a force here and maybe get a couple more in 5, it's a tie ball game
Yeah.
again.
I think you gotta move something here.
That guard there. Like this. Yeah, that's true.
Where do you want to hit it?
I think half the rock is about right.
Looks like I'm playing just blue on blue here.
No, a little less than that. Pick half.
Okay.
They will, if they play this double, will lose a shooter. They have an opportunity to hit either one at the back of the blues.
Yeah, just if he's
Yeah, trying to top 4. Losing the run, but it's not to make it.
Yeah, no.
Gotta move. Whoa. Whoa. All right.
He makes that top double, but he does lose his shooter. So,
That works. Nice shot.
was what he was calling.
Yeah, it's not bad. It opens up some space now. They can tap that yellow back.
Get a piece of that one on the button.
Yeah.
You basically put the broom where you want to hit. I'm not even throwing that hard.
It's good on that.
Yeah,
The use of the ice is
He's got to be good with it.
yeah. I won't jump it, so I think I'll hang out quite a lot.
Yep, nice.
So, Scotland trying to draw another one in here.
You definitely couldn't hear your line call.
Okay.
I could look up and see it, so that was fine that way, but
Yeah.
Around the guard. Oh, no, just chipped to the edge of the
chipped
guard.
I was a little surprised they played the whole end playing that in turn, and
Yeah.
then they switched over to that out turn. Maybe a little bit of a guess on where to put the broom.
It does come in for second shot, though, so
Yeah, it certainly tempts the U.S. into playing a hit and roll.
Absolutely.
I think if you're trying to get to the button, the easiest way is just to draw. But it's scary when you're facing a few.
And you want to look at potentially bringing those other 2 yellow ones at the top into play. They're not going to come into play if they draw here, but...
We get to here, we got 2 guards. That's great. They'll have this, but...
So just a draw.
Yeah.
That's a lot of room.
A draw going this way, I think.
We're left with
That's a
that
straight
one.
side.
It is? Yeah, you're right. It's going away.
Okay.
So it looks like they're going to go straight draw. No temptation for anything different here. Both of these teams were a little nervous getting mic'd up.
Well, I think it's definitely good practice for the Scottish team if they're off to the World Championship here in a few months. And hopefully the U.S. team can come through their nationals and be in the same boat. I think every chance you get to get that experience on TV, on radio, you just get more and more comfortable with it.
You've had a few of those in the last little bit. The men's championships, men's trials, and mixed doubles trials.
It's been a little bit of a run, which is good. It took my team quite a bit of time to feel comfortable in that situation, but I think we're there now and we're playing well. You always want to play well in the big games that are on TV.
Absolutely.
That's how everyone remembers you.
And you're playing with Iratsu Garcia this weekend. My brother's not here. You coach them?
Yeah, I'm off to coach them the following week at their nationals and got the chance to play. So.
Exciting.
This is an interesting situation here for Scotland. They can sort of play the all or nothing off that side blue one, or they can maybe try and open it up or play sort of a nose double on that yellow one, which has a little bit of risk to it for sure.
Both shots have a little bit of risk, actually.
They do.
Use your own blue one to run off, and you end up leaving yourself a tap back for your opponent a tap back for 4.
I would almost be tempted if you could make the double peel on those 2 yellows, and then the U.S. has to decide whether they want to guard their 1 rock in the house or whether they want to do something else.
Absolutely. It looks like what they're going to go with here.
Looks like they're going to try this nose double if they make it. You'll probably see the States play the same draw they just played.
Absolutely.
Pull your high.
Try and catch it and miss.
A couple of those. Not a bad option. Eliminates the scoring potential threats from... you can never get this yellow one out of there. Then blue's sitting nice and pretty.
Just going back. Yeah, you knows this. It's a tough double to make. And we're sitting... Well, we're sitting 1-3. Then they just make a play on that.
I'd say it was like not backed, but like positive.
I think maybe just throw a guard up.
Even that was just carried out a wee bit.
Make a shot.
Okay, that sounds good.
It's okay though.
Yeah, no, if they throw it
Yeah.
put a double for 3.
I did 8.
They go strong. I think they're trying to get it just biting.
Yeah, this one.
I think that was a good discussion. I quite like throwing the guard here. That in-off is not easy by any stretch.
They seem to have become more patient in that first 5 against them in the in 2. They're talking things out a little better, thinking about their options, looking at the possibilities and the risks. Some margins with the draw here. With the guard, sorry.
It's pretty close.
Line's fine. Yeah, for line. Yep. Yes, for line. Yes, for line. It's getting over curl a bit. Over and off.
Looks like she's got a pretty good guard here.
Oh, bummer.
I know it looks like that rock's half open, but it would be pretty tricky to get to the inside with any kind of weight.
Yeah, I mean, the sideboard
If they're back to that same in-off over there,
Stone's quite good.
Well, they're gonna.
Yeah, worse.
about thin half of that blue one.
Yeah.
4 stone, half stone, make
Maybe
it
get
3.
inside that.
That's good.
Got it. Do you want me to sweep or hold brush?
That's decided to miss one.
Hold brush probably at
All the
this.
rest, I think.
What hand do you like? Do you like still playing out turn? I think I'm going to give you that.
Yeah.
Because it is just going back the way. Because you literally catch an inch, you probably still make it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm happy to call it if you want to come straight down.
What?
I'm happy to call it if you want to come straight down.
Yeah, I will do. Should know anyway.
I'm a little bit negative ice here.
Yeah, I think so, which I think is smart. She can hit this pretty thin like they talked about and still
make the double.
Make some sort of double back there.
I think it is, yeah. It's a shot for 3. They stick it.
And just like that, we're back to tied.
Back to tie game.
Yeah. It's tough to look at that much negative ice and still throw it.
I think she needed to be right on the edge of the stone. I think she had some margin either way. Not overly throwing, so you're not going to get the float back. It is going to curl up at the end. And, well, Brendan, you're going to go get something to eat and ready for your next game. Thanks for joining me here this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to hearing how this one ends. It looks like it'll be a pretty good game.
Follow along online.
Yeah. I will.
And have a good lunch.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan.
That's good.
So we're continuing live here in the 5th end between Stirling and Kingan and Moores and Wheeler. Score is tied up 5-5. Sterling and Wheeler have elected to call their power play. And that's kind of a unique situation. The stones are set up in the side of the sheet. You can only call this if you have the hammer, and you get 1 opportunity per game to call a power play. And this takes the game away from the center line. And we've seen teams manage this differently. Some
really good.
Play a tick shot and put it to the middle, and other teams just throw it on the pin, on the button, on the forefoot. So
can you put it up?
that was a really nice execution. Takes that corner a little bit out of play and takes advantage of the getting Yellowstone in play. And these guys are going to continue to try and keep the play to the side.
So we're either...
Yeah, we'll just kind of try and get around that corner. So it's still there to be used.
Yeah.
Let's run up guard.
Even if it's not fully buried, it's just...
I mean, guards hard to try to steal, and this is just trying to force.
Just trust it to run much the same, but we'll see.
They put one on top of their pile. It depends where they go.
I was probably going to say take about here.
Corner freeze out of the one. That's fantastic. Look at watch their line. This is going to be fresh. I've never filmed this path. These pot plays are long. Take a look.
So you hear the opponent talking about the lines and the weight and the fact that the ice is fresh on the side. It's a little bit about the power play. You're forced to the outsides. Been playing most of the game down the center lines in the control zone, and now you're going to play to the outside. So the ice is going to run a little different speed. Hasn't been played. Some fresh pebble out there. So teams will practice this. Really nice execution. She really great weight out there.
Okay.
Nice throw.
Me too. I say center line.
Don't mind that.
And we have a free guard too. We can try the guard. We can keep trying around later, but it's still pretty aggressive.
So unlike men's and women's play, this you cannot hit here.
That top one's good.
So
We'll see that.
Freeze.
Morrison Wheeler will just try and draw one, freeze one down in there, eliminating those two by drawing against them. They could also choose to just put up center guard. They're going to play it into the pot.
So depending on line, we can either freeze the back one or the top one.
Even play out here.
It's a new young team from Scotland. They won the Scottish Championships and will be going to the Worlds in Östersund, Sweden in April. exciting growth and expansion of curling in Scotland mixed doubles. Great to see so many teams competing and some new faces.
Felt heavy coming out.
Even nose is fine.
So they didn't quite make the weight adjustment as well as
Not gonna do too much.
What's that?
Stirling and Kingan, coming up a little short. The margin is to be in the house and bump those around a little.
Run in the corner.
So Scotland will have the opportunity to just hit this yellow one out. It's a 5th stone being delivered. That means it can be removed. Nice shot. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to hit roll?
sending nice 3 blue ones here.
Gotta be.
You get a nice throw. You give it a nice throw.
Clara Moores and Lance Walker
I wanted to pause it.
from Denver Curling Club in USA.
Nice.
Like to say hello to all their family, friends, and hopefully the members from the club all tuning in.
I'd say better
I
not
like
to take
this.
the half roll.
Right here.
Okay.
We gotta use just
We're
barely
here
up nose.
preparing for the USA Championships, which will be happening next week, I believe. Jane and Fraser are Scottish champions already, and they'd like to say big thanks to their sponsors,
Well, sleeping enough.
friends and family, all cheering and supporting them on. Sport Scotland.
Whoa!
Wide, tight.
Now trying to hit and roll and get over to the other side here. He's just going to spin that right out.
I think just draw it this side.
Yeah,
Try and get it. If we do this, we should get a 3.
Yeah.
Unless they take a real big gamble and go out there. If we can try and keep them.
So
It's like right back.
Scotland's going to draw it the open side here.
9 here on that side.
Yeah, exactly. I like being at least T-line though.
We don't have anything we need to type.
Yeah, but even top 4, if it's right out there, it's fine. Pass them 4, please.
Sorry.
Cheers. No, just anywhere in the ring is good.
We're gonna bundle.
And from here at Curling Band Zoetermeer, we'd like to give a big thank you to Golden Tulip and Myers Lunchroom,
Other side. Think that's good?
the many sponsors at the event here. Carlo Glassberg and Kimberly Honders put a lot of hours and a lot of work into preparing and getting all the volunteers,
Hopefully it comes down towards the way.
which these events can't happen without them, so thank you.
Dig.
A little bit warm here. Let's see if it sticks in the back end.
It's fine.
It sticks just enough. It does create the opportunity for USA to say, okay, let's do something a little different here. They can choose to draw in here on the other side and eliminate some. Had they been at T-line, USA is probably hitting and rolling across. But once again, playing to the outsides compared to playing in the middle. I'm not really sure of the ice the same way as you've been playing the whole game.
Just want to fiddle with my hand this time.
I just, because I
It
thought,
was cold. You should let me see.
no, I don't know, really. I thought as soon as I drawn to the wing, it might be a wee bit slower at the wing.
You said really back to that. That's what
You can actually just go behind there, so you wouldn't have to be
I
dead.
might diamond her off the wings and look what happened, it did. Right. I got to the hog line, I was like, Jesus, there's nowhere to go. Again, I was like, yes.
It's a good chattering community happening down there.
You know it's definitely heavy when you do it.
Thankful that stone stopped in time.
There, I think.
Mine's tight.
this. Nicely by the guard. Let's see if it curls up here. A little bit heavy. That goes out to the back. And
That's annoying, but that one's ended up now.
use them a draw for 3. Scotland will draw here for 3.
They've only got one left to try and deal with it, so I think they've probably got to take the gamble and
Oh,
go
sorry.
right again. Or happy to give up 3, which I don't think it would be.
Not last down yet. Rushing myself here. Thank you for the code there, Christian. How many stones are left?
I like being fully in the 8 foot.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be much.
He'll try and the same thing here.
Definitely less than the last.
And hopefully freeze.
Let it go.
I'll be looking at drawing up the tee line.
I mean, just sitting top 8 is fine. We had the yellow to get behind too.
Equal with the stones on the other side of the sheet.
Where was your line?
Make the tee.
I was on the center line. You can take more ice actually because I was heavy. We just getting past that guard. The line's pretty good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's right half.
That's a really nice spot. There's no double there from that roll off to the other side, so forces USA to take some chances here.
And getting buried, then means probably not being
We'll try to like, well not, just sit right on top.
Yeah.
If you can put one in here, it'll be
They kind of.
Is there any slower on that line?
We've got through that port.
You think? Or faster?
Do that.
The speed the same as
You just can't take
It's the same, I think.
It's Claire Moores, USA, Denver, Colorado. Delivering her last stone at this end.
It's okay, close.
Weight's good.
Close.
Don't want to
No,
go.
line's fine.
A little heavy. We gotta sit down.
Yeah.
We're back ring right now.
Is it going to bump us at all, Jack?
Back 8. Sit.
Okay. Go. You're really good. Go, you're fast.
And just a little heavy again. This is now going to be a draw for 4.
9-5.
And see how quickly these ends can turn around in mixed doubles. You can't hit stones.
The whole house.
So USA's worked really hard to tie up this game, and after getting that big 5 against them in 2. And unfortunately, you're going to be looking again, and some numbers to come back, a few less ends to find them points.
It's throw what you've been throwing, so you know the path.
I'll check, but I don't think it is. You can see it blue over there. Oh, we bounced back after 5.
Got it. It's pretty good.
So I was talking about it as a big, good speed. Just cleaning up. I'd have to work a little bit harder here. And in. Just needs a piece of the white.
Good shot. 4. Just. 4, yeah.
I was gonna look at that one, but I think you're right.
Sorry, but I think they were like just about all touching the white anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't get a good look at it from back there, but I believe you.
It was like, sorry, it was like. At least
Well, USA moved those stones, so
I should have moved it.
if USA wanted to, they actually moved the stones, so if he wanted to look at that, then it was their responsibility to do that before they started moving them. It was definitely 4 from our view, but the two-thirds have the two players have the opportunity to take a look to make sure they agree with it. That's the score.
Good power play too.
What side?
I don't know.
But if the team moves the stones before there's an agreement, if it's your own team member, you can't really argue much, but
Try the tick.
that's too bad. Good shooting by Scotland. Good discipline on placing the stones. Good outcome from the power play. Here you see the other team now playing a power play. And Scotland's going to try a tick shot. And they don't get the tick, but they come around. Not quite ideal.
You freeze that blue one, that's great.
Wasn't quite the shot they were wanting to play.
It was like, it was on it and like, you were
Probably center line, I really don't know
and
the
then
line
it went
is.
back. Like,
It's not that, it's just the weight was miles there.
I know, sorry.
If you played the weight, I don't have to sweep it. You had to keep sweeping the weight.
Yeah, lift inside and then pitch your bit out. Yep.
Fine, don't worry.
Heavy.
Yep. Line's okay.
Good water break there. And a little top of that one, just a little heavy. USA was throwing a little heavy in the early ends and then seemed to get their draw weight really well in the middle.
Do you want me to try the
And
tick? Or do you like the freeze?
back throwing a little bit heavy again.
I don't mind you trying the tick.
I like the tick.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had to get off that one. There was spicy. Let's look at a few good ones here.
You're throwing the tick class.
First forever then.
I know.
Scotland's leading here, 9-5.
I take kind of like edge of the stone plus a wee tiny, like,
So you think if we take edge of that blue stone, it's pretty close at the cack.
I think the middle of it.
Whoa, whoa. Close. Yep!
It's nice close-up footage from our cameraman Lawrence Hookman out there.
Whoa! Dig. Sit.
Now we have a nice little tick right into the forefoot here, a little bit deep. Guard goes a little more to the side, so opening up that yellow one.
With the house.
Yeah, hit and roll. We were playing for a deuce, but just fine.
See a touch more sweeping. That drop is right there, it might have been okay.
6 in, I don't know. Do you want to
Time behind
yeah,
it.
just go for 2 here?
It's pretty good.
Sure,
So
let's
I don't know
go.
if it's actually benefit
Like
us,
that, I'll
but
throw.
before you could catch that blue anywhere,
Yeah.
run it in now, you've only got like...
And the other option is to freeze that top red, or the top blue.
Okay.
But then they guard that and we're throwing a
So
double.
I was going to be a shot to you with the tick shot.
We got a couple ends.
I'm not used to that.
So I think he's going to play a hit and roll, split the house here. Sit for 2. Conceding the fact that he's going to score 2 as long as Scotland keeps making the shots.
Give away 2 here at most. 2, still 2 up, 2 to play.
So this weekend also on the tour we have Bern Ladies Spiel happening down in Switzerland.
Really gotta move.
Our Olympic team's busy in action.
Should I have a go at that?
Yeah.
Worth a try, I think.
Yeah, even if you left this.
Yeah, exactly. As long as one goes, I'm happy.
Only risk is if they roll behind ours. We even do that, we just throw our draw.
An inch. About an inch. You can get away with a bit more, but I think an inch is perfect.
So he's going to try and go for this double. He says he's okay if he removes one. Almost. Pushes it, but I think the blue is now second shot. So did not remove it from play, but created some advantage. Not quite what he was looking for. USA will come and freeze on top of that, so hopefully they can get an opportunity to play on it again.
That way, sweeper outside.
We can move it too. That's no problem. We just fix the inside of it. We roll. They'll have a double somewhere, but we should get it set up for two at least. That's right of where it usually is. I'm gonna go right back.
Yeah.
We just don't want to leave this one short like mine.
Our next featured game of the day will be at 7:40 p.m. Saskelin and Niddergata versus Yagi and Michelle. That's Norway, is Norwegian Olympic team versus very experienced players from Switzerland. Sven Michel and his partner Yagi.
Did we move it enough?
No.
Yeah, there's still shot in like or a second.
Yeah.
Same ice.
Yeah.
One ice. Just quarter.
Tap that a little and hold in. We'll be looking at removing it.
You could hear it.
And this time he gets the angles right on the double. Nice shot.
That's where you want to roll.
And we hit.
Are you thinking this?
We can play it.
Really nice shot by Fraser.
Or just even if we hit and roll over, we have to just not jam on this thing.
Okay.
Jane staying in the house and watching the line to get it right.
One here.
Yeah.
Good job.
You like that or no?
Fourth year guys,
Yeah. We got to catch a cork on it.
So USA is looking at also trying the double here. They're going to want to get off that blue. Remove the two blue ones. Score two. Bird to take a bit of a chance. They need a couple points.
As long as you can make the double without losing his back foot. Yeah, I think it's pretty tough. Like to get that across the top, you might just be perfect, but really not easy.
Thomas May, good camera work.
Gotta move.
Looks like he's not going to curl up enough here. He's going to go right on by, and that's going to be a steal of two for Scotland.
Right in the centre line, top four. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's not even the last rock.
Yeah.
I need to wake up a little here.
Right centre. Even if you're like short.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's still
Sorry,
make
everyone.
the draw, and it's always just for one.
You got to catch it, man.
Try and make it as hard as possible for them.
Yeah.
You catch more like a half of it. I think we get over top of that yellow.
You got it. Let me know which side you want me on. Yeah. Oh, I can look as well. Yeah. I'll try and keep you updated where it is. It's a wee bit tight.
So, apologies for getting the stone count wrong here. Just throwing one down to the top of the edge. Hoping to get to the top of the 8-foot there. Sit in play, make it a little more difficult for USA to score more. She's kind of come a little short. USA will still be looking at making it probably. I think they're going to try and play the double here. This will be the last zone of the end.
Easy.
Now?
Always forcing as well.
Yeah, it's not
good. Should have switched earlier. I thought it was going to go further.
I know, I tried to come up with something from your face.
No, I did. I wanted to keep the head down for a win.
As long as you can hear me.
Yeah.
You can hear my motor.
Speed's changed.
I do short with you. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And she's looking like she's going to play the draw here. Coming around, drawing for one.
Yep, line's okay. Line's okay. Line's fine. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
He's calling. She's calling for help, but he didn't hear that. That will be a score of 2 blue.
I was trying to ask for help and I couldn't get it out.
Steal of 2. Score is now 11-5. 2 ends to play. And both teams have used their power play, so we will not see another power play in play. You only get one opportunity to call one. No more available. So stones will be placed in the middle of the sheet. And the hammer will remain with Team USA.
Sorry.
Sorry. Think you're spicy or what? I'll get pulled up. No?
Line's good.
Wait,
In that case, it is getting slower.
For Stone, throwing in a nice come around here. And shot Jane.
You're really good.
Okay, it's fine there.
Right into the top of the floor. Full 8-foot. Nice line.
Follow it. Fine. I think it's slowing a touch. I think it might be slowing down.
Either freeze on that side or yeah, you put one top 4 on the other side.
Just talking about the ice slowing down a little, and it seems to, the last game, it seemed to in N7 also seemed to get a little bit stickier. So, ice makers will be looking at how they can make that improvement in the next game.
Yep. Line's okay. Gotta move.
That's pretty good.
Gotta move.
Good shot.
Another nice come around.
Really good.
So the second throw from Scotland. Fraser Kingan.
That's a good spot.
And they'd like to say a big thank you to CS Sets, Owen Farm Services, TP Niven Transport and Storage, Hardline Curling, Matthew Watt Hair, James Kingan and Sons, and Sellfield. Many sponsors that help this team out. Thank you very much for your support. It is valuable on the long journey for the curling world.
That's good sideways.
Of course, Scotland sport.
I like it. I just went sideways though at the
Yeah,
end.
you really, really did.
It's 4th shot, right?
We can hit it, yeah.
Do you want to do this?
I don't think we can.
Okay.
I don't think we can see enough of it.
And Claire and Lance would like to send a big shout out to Denver Curling Club. And hi to the families. Hope you're home there cheering.
Yeah,
Hope everybody's doing well, and hope you're enjoying the game.
Path out here, I think those drop guys are coming down.
Okay.
It's the 3rd edition of the Dutch Masters. Mixed doubles.
Top 4!
Hard line! Gotta go!
Lots of great teamwork, led by Carlo Glasberg and Kimberly Honders. Great crew of volunteers.
Right back in the back one. Nice hitting the back one. 6 up. Hit the back one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I like it.
Yeah, I've been tempted for that.
Don't think I need to.
Okay.
I'm going to try and pick out this yellow one at the back here.
Top 8.
Okay.
Should be fine.
Just picking it. Okay.
Really nice shot.
Cheers.
Nice shot.
Good pick out there. They wanted to eliminate stones, so their objective was not to hit and stay there. They just wanted to hit and pick that out so that they don't leave anything in the back for the yellow stones to come to.
I did throw it a wee bit different.
I think, like, just because the ice is running, you don't want to jump it and knock it out of
Yeah,
tracks.
no,
Like,
it's fine.
Poster board. Myers Lunchroom, Curling Band Zoetermeer, Golden Tulip.
So doing that
Sponsors for the event.
3 max. And like, chance on my.
Knows this, I think we get
The logo for the Champions Curling Champions Tour has changed. It is now
Save that for yours.
World
There's one on
Curling
top
Tour.
over here.
That is an amalgamation that happened this year, this summer.
We'll just go
As long as we
here.
don't lose more than 3 here, we're
Unfortunately, our logos in the ice were already placed, so
In that position.
we've elected here to run the posters the same to match. And those will be a little bit of a new look. Same style of logo, but the wording will be a little different next year. It is all the same tour, if those of you are following the Burn Ladies and this one. And great work from Armin Hodder to put this tour together and all the work behind the scenes.
So we don't go for that now.
And great expansion and growth.
Right.
It's really exciting for development of curling all across the
Go back
world.
down there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, where do you want it?
I'll throw normal. It's a few inches outside.
You can follow the curling tour on www.worldgirl.com
straight to call. Let's just try to open that one up.
or on curlingzone.com. They work in partnership, bringing you all the scores,
I think if he just peels the outside one off, I'm just going to try and
live
run it.
scoring updates, all sorts of curling information you can find on those two sites. Check it out. I'd like to clear both of those guards off. He does manage to get one out of the way.
Guard that.
Does give him some possibility to get a little further. Scotland's talking about just putting up another guard.
I guess if it's like that's something. I like this one. Garden that.
I don't like garden because there's garden there. Their shot. Something like that.
I don't even need to.
The moment they're playing this.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a couple options here. They kind of come in and put another stone in scoring position, so even if they play the run back, they don't score.
Yeah, okay.
The other option is to throw up a guard.
To go like at least here.
Yeah.
Probably at least T-line to if they hit and roll.
Yeah.
I actually quite like the run. I'm quite confident in making it, so. It's literally nose, or here this side.
Trevor likes that.
He's actually talking about playing the blue,
I like the run.
trying to pick that yellow one out of there.
Play this turn, I think. Play it in
Each
turn.
thrower has a preference. Just needs to get a piece of that yellow one, eliminate it from play. So he has some confidence with it, so he's going to go with the shot that feels best for him. They were talking about the draw weight changing a little. And he nails it.
Thanks.
That was shown and executed, thrown and executed with confidence. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah. Do this, we'd stick and sit under.
Most of them are getting there too, so.
I'm not sure how much I can see.
That's why I quite liked it.
No, that's fine.
See, even if I just peeled it off,
What's that?
you'd still have the pick in the match they were getting.
Move it.
There's two.
That's good. No, that's good.
I got a lot of it.
You've been throwing them quite nice for getting them.
He's going to try to throw a double or hit and roll here.
I like that.
Put the stone in play. Yes, he would really like to score here, of course. Playing with the hammer.
Close. Yep. Whoa.
Just gets a little too thick.
Yep.
Did you ever
Need to
like
be sweeping that a
if we
little
throw
bit.
Here, they've thrown
Overcurled it a
Might as well try and come here.
Try there, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
And comes off the top of that blue one, leaving one in play.
I think. They're forced in then.
He didn't roll into the open, so. So I'm going to be looking at just drawing one into the top of the blue or 8 foot or the 12 foot and partially behind the guard.
Kind of half round, kind of Christmas tree a wee bit. So they've forced them to come on this side against two. That's what you call it. That's what it's called.
It is called a Christmas tree. I use that term all the time. It's a new term for Jane. She's laughing.
Just throw it.
We're gonna have. I don't know what they're throwing. Probably just burying one.
I think so. It's behind.
Double tapper one and then. Steel fire.
Steel five.
Yeah, well, he seems quite good.
I'd just like to get this into play and force it to be a little more difficult. USA to look at another stone, land at another point. All right. And almost freezing it right on top there. It doesn't quite make a Christmas tree.
Whatever you want.
Making a Christmas tree would mean that they'd get half around that front guard and halfway in front of the other one, so
You'll have to get a little
they
inside.
go in a line kind of sideways, leaving
was
half
nice,
stones open. That's what you call a
Wait, it
Christmas
was
tree.
good.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Fine though.
Hey, who knows if this thing will move
Like,
far enough?
my weight
we'll
was really,
score
really
anyway.
short, so I was happy to
Trying to get
forfeit.
rid of all
I like
a wee
this
bit
turn
for
though.
it being a reasonable
No, that's
weight.
fine. We're always forcing. And then we're still back not winning in the last.
It just puts it out. All that does is add a wee bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Good force.
Like, if they catch you anywhere high, and it's so easy done.
Yeah, definitely in the margin. Good job, Jane.
Gotta be nose or hair inside.
Over there on sheet C, Sven Michel is up on Yagi, are up on Sweden 5-4. Tight game over there.
Good wait.
So they're wide.
Playing the last end.
That's for line. Whoa.
Here in our feature game, it is 11-5, playing end 8. For Scotland over USA.
Well played, cheers.
And that will be handshakes. It is a steal of 1
Well played, thanks.
for Kingan and Stirling.
Stones have to go down that end, though. I think Stones might be down that end, I think, but yeah.
That was a well-executed game from this young Scottish team. A little new on the mixed doubles circuit, really enjoying their experience, and definitely a lot of great communication. Seem to have a really good spirit with each other, and really encouraging and supportive. So I think they've got a pretty bright future in the game, and they're going to be joined by Judith McCleary, who has represented Scotland in the past as well. She's going to be coaching them at the Worlds in Ostersund, so we wish them all the best, and we sure will be seeing them again this weekend. So tune into another game. Thanks to all their friends and family and all their supporters.
Don't worry about numbers. Chuck them in. Not yet, no. Do it this way.
Yeah, I'll take them. Yeah.
We're going to move over here and catch the last couple stones of the Switzerland-Sweden game. Only a couple stones left to go. And 5-4 game. See if we can get some sound for you. Our cameraman Lawrence is going to go get that taken care of, and hear a little sound on the ice. Able to maybe hear a little bit of the conversation happening between the teams. Michelle and Yagi. I do have last on advantage, I believe. And there we are. Thank you, Christian. Moves that and rolls out, but there is still 2 more stones to come. This new young team from Sweden. This is their last stone. They need to steal this end to keep force an extra, and then Sven has last stone. Michelle. So, here we go. So, last couple stones here to come in this game. We're trying to come around this center one here. just racked that guard, so that will be handshakes on that sheet also. We were hoping to bring a couple good stones there at the end of that game. Unfortunately, that one's over as well. So Sven Michel and Michelle Yegi will take the win. And only one game still on the ice in this draw. And that is McCleary. And we won't be following the rest of that game. We're going to close off the broadcast. And we will be back this evening at 7:30 for the game between Saskelin and Niedergata. Yeah, cameraman Lawrence. Lots of commentary from me. I can't read my sheet. And Yagi and Michelle. So join us back here at 7:30 this evening. Live, the Dutch Masters Mixed Doubles Curling Tournament on the Curling World Tour at Curling Ban Zoetermeer. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Lawrence and Christian. And my guest commentator in the beginning of the game, Brennan Botcher. And look forward to the next game. Have a good afternoon, everyone. See you soon.